Hello everybody, today I'm going to be talking about the major banners that are going to come out all the way until the Grand Life scenario. I'm going to be breaking them down each separately, being front, pace, late and end, and that's going to be it. If you find this video to be helpful, consider subscribing as it will help with the channel growth. One more thing that I want to talk about is that I have an official Discord server, so if you are interested to join, consider joining and it will be posted on the description and also going to be posted on the comment section. So first things off, we will have the front runners. Front runners are going to be very cheap to build, unironically, because you don't really have much to pull for after the Kita-san Black rerun banner. If you're going to pull on that banner, after that banner you wouldn't really pull on something that has like a very high value outside of like maybe the fine motion rerun banner card. That just depends on how much currency that you end up have left, because if you have if you can pull on all of these very comfortably, then you could go with that fine motion banner. So the first thing is going to be Valentine Mihono Bourbon and Valentine in Isha and Flash. We are only going to talk about Mihono Bourbon since Mihono Bourbon is a frontrunner and she is basically the highlight. So Valentine Mihono Bourbon, outside of her being my Oshi character, she is basically like frontrunner on steroids. For some whatever reason, they give her a cat that is like 3 years of power creep for frontrunners on her default skills, and she's actually like very insane in terms of relevancy. Even after the second year anniversary balance change, she is still going to be a very strong Uma. Even current day GP, she's still going to be used, even though frontrunners aren't really the strongest style in JP. Anyways, what makes her very good? Very growth rates. Very growth rates, oh my god. Very good growth rates. 10% speed, 10% stamina, and 10% power. Very good. She can run every single distance very easily. You only need 4 sparks to get this to A for sprint, which is very good. She has a very strong ultimate that procs in the mid game, which would recover her 0.35 target speed increase and also grant her 1.15 stamina. So to activate this unique is that you have to be in a corner and you have to be in the mid game, and there's an Uma that is behind you for 3 seconds. Very easy ultimate to proc, and it gives her very good effects. She has Escape Artist, which is very strong mid game skill, and alongside of her unique over here, 0.7 overall target speed increase if both of them proc together, or like you could get very long duration of 0.35 speed increase. Another thing she has is Frontrunner Savvy, which helps her proc her skills more consistently because this is a wet increase. And yeah, very strong. She has Groundwork innately, which is very good, because this is going to be probably the first Uma that just has Groundwork on their initial kit. And she has Concentration at level 5, which means is that she has 2 out of 3 for Groundwork, being from Frontrunner Savvy and also Concentration. But if we go down over here, Valentine's Day mission, if you have 60,000 fans, you get early lead guaranteed. So yeah, she can just get Groundwork to proc with early lead, and she has Escape Artist, very good unique over here too. Overall, very strong Uma, and this is why I'm going to recommend pulling on her. She also has a chance of her giving you Charming, which is of course very strong too. Their only downside for Mihono Bourbon is that you can't really get taking the lead on Valentine Mihono Bourbon outside of this Twin Turbo card, which is a very bad card because it has a coin flip every single time to progress, and even then it's not going to be fun taking the lead. However, She's going to be an extremely powerful Uma, and you will probably see her for a very, very long time until Frontrunner is dead, because for JP version, there hasn't been really any Frontrunner buffs for a while. So Frontrunners are generally just like bit more hard to use because they don't have the current day JP power creep of terms of cards. And yeah, very, very good Uma you should pull if she is your favorite, or you are going to pull for a very strong front runner. Next up, we have going to be Kita-san Black. Kita-san Black is also a very good Uma, but she specializes specifically for the long distance tracks. Her unique is going to be a hybrid unique, giving both speed and also acceleration, but this unique is going to be interesting. So I did ask around in a server called Victoria Frontier. You probably know of that server, just to know what this line means. And this basically is an overlapped section in the race. So in long distance tracks only, there is like going to be a slight overlap on the track itself. So this unique only triggers pretty much on long distance tracks, like the good version. There is a weaker version, but we only care about the top version. So yeah, this unique triggers the acceleration part on long distance tracks, and when inherited is a 0.1 XL, but there is going to be a different Uma that I will also talk about, which pairs very, very well. This Uma has a very good growth rates also, being 20% speed and 10% stamina, and she can run every distance. She can technically run short, but her unique is going to be the weaker version, because you do not have the increased the overlap section of the map. So Kita-san Black, very, very good Uma. She has early lead and taking the lead over here, which is very, very strong. She has Leader's Pride, very strong front runner skill too. And she has something called Blast Forward, which triggers at a random straight if it's long distance track, which is of course something, it is not like consistent, but it's something to keep in mind. And yeah, Kita-san Black is going to be an Uma that you will probably use for inheritance, since her unique works very well in long distance tracks. So next up is going to be Bell Room Sensei, and this is going to be an optional banner. If you have extra carats saved up, you could justify pulling on this banner. So Bell Room Sensei, her unique is going to be very strong in long distance tracks alongside Kita-san Black too. And this is the Uma that I was talking about that pairs well with Kita-san Black, because they both have this condition where you have to be in the final straight and it has to be an overlap. If there is an overlap on the map, it will trigger. And as you can see, it also has acceleration. This acceleration is going to be 0.05 I believe on release, and then later it gets buffed to 0.07 later on. So alongside Kita-san Black, you're gonna have a 0.15 acceleration the frame that you touch the late race. So this Sensei is actually going to be better than original Sensei in long distance tracks because of that reason. Sensei's unique only triggers on the final corner, while this one can trigger in the final straight, effectively making it better in long distance tracks. So yeah, as an Uma herself, she is also like a decent Uma for long distance tracks because she has Top Runner and also Escape Artist. So yeah, decent Uma if you're going to go for parenting for long distance tracks. This Uma and Kita-san Black are both very notable Umas. Next up is going to be the first card that I'm going to be talking about, is going to be the Summer Marazenski banner. So she is paired with another card, but I'm not going to talk about that card since it's not front runner oriented. So this card. This card is going to be a very insane card for frontrunners, and that is because it can give you top runner over here. Top runner is basically the gold version of leader's pride, which is of course a very good skill. And as you can clearly see, all the skills over here pretty much just frontrunner oriented skills. You have frontrunner straightaways, corners, leader's pride, you have playtime's over, early lead, and even ground work, even focus too if you want to. So if you see an hint on this card, you know you're going to be benefiting at least something from this effect, which is of course very nice. And she also can give you decent amount of skills over here too. Speed, sorry. So this card is going to be released in the middle of make a new track scenario, and this card, as you can clearly see, she does have race bonus, but it's very poor. You after make a new track scenario, you only need one limit break for this card to be effective. You will struggle a lot because this is a 2% race bonus if you plan on running this card. But if you want this card to be effective in make a new track and also the next couple of scenarios, then you would need at least limit break 3 for the 5% race bonus. This is only for make a new track. If you want this card to function, you only need one limit break over here to get that power bonus. So yeah, very strong card. This is going to be an essential card probably for Valentine Mihano Bourbon to help her secure that mid-game position. So this card, frontrunner, you don't want to skip it. I know there is a rerun banner with this card and Find Motion, but for the most part you could already have like your borrow slot be something else, and you are going to be unable to run this Marazinski card alongside that other card, so it could cause some issues. So yeah, overall very strong card. You would need to pull on this card, because if you're not going to pull on this card, like, are you playing a frontrunner or are you like playing something else? So the next two I'm going to be talking about is you only need to pick one of them. Both of them do contain free pulls, so yeah, very awesome. But you only need one of them. That is going to be the Makayanu speed card and the Naruto Top Road speed card. Hey, I fixed my mistake of the last video, by the way, in case if you watched that. So these two banners, you only need one of these two cards, but which card is going to be better of the two in terms of your, if you like, I only have one choice, which banner do I go to pity on? So overall value, I think Makiyani Fukitaru will be better than Naruto Toboggan. Oh my god, I did it again. Sorry, Naruto Top Road. So Naruto Top Road immediately falls off after making a new track because of her gimmick. I'm going to swap over here and talk about her gimmick, which is going to be her getting 10,000 fans each time you get like to 10,000. You get an extra training effectiveness all the way to 20%. So this is the issue. In Make a New Track, this is going to be very easy, because you will already pick cards that have very high amounts of fan bonus, because you will most likely pick cards that have 10% race bonus. They always have 15% or 20% fan bonus. So you will already hit this very easily. But after Make a New Track, this becomes much harder to get. And this is essentially the entire card gimmick, because you will need that training effectiveness for it to compete with other speed cards. So yeah, this card, unfortunately, while is going to be a very good card in Make a New Track, you could just borrow this card and just after Make a New Track not use this card as a borrow slot. But if you're a spender, I guess you could go for it, because you're gonna spend money, so you're probably going to pull on this banner regardless, because this banner is also going to be a featured banner alongside of a different card that is going to be very strong. that is going to be the SR Admire Vega card. This card is going to be a speed guts card, sorry, and this card has 15% race bonus. But what you can do is that after the free pulls, if you got a copy or two of Admire Vega, you can like spend a couple extra pulls, get it to like 2 limit break, and just dump the crystal just to max limit break this card and just move on. If you do not want to pick Nartatab road, okay? Next is going to be Makiyane Fukitaru. Makiyane Fukitaru, the reason why I think she's going to be overall better is that even after making a new track, you are still going to get a benefit of her giving you 30 initial stats on everything. While this card is a complete roamer, you would still get value off of it because let's say you're making a parent. These initial stats will help you throughout the career too. And keep in mind that she is like a semi-PAL card, and that this is the only card that is not a PAL card that has reduced energy reduction, which is very, very interesting. And she also has like a reduced probability of failure, which is very interesting for a speed card. But over here, she could give you a +7 stats over here, another +7 stats over here, and another 7+. It's RNG, but if you did get 1 over here, it's nice. If you get 2, that's very good. If you get all the way and get the very lucky one, well, you got a very decent run. So this card is going to be somewhat decent after making a new track and also good in Grand Life scenario. This card will fall off immediately after you get to Project Lark scenario. So yeah, this card is going to be overall like better longevity compared to Nartatab Road. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much like in terms of pooling. But since we have passed the first year anniversary, there's going to be a payday pack where you if you spend some money on the game, could get a selector Uma of your choice for free. Or not for free, you're spending money, but like it depends on your choice. So these are my recommended options. Sand Sky, going to be Summer Marazensky if you do not have either of them. And this is going to be the New Year's Opera O. So every single recommendation that I will do will also include this Uma. TM Opera O, the New Year version, is very interesting because of her parenting. If you proc 7 skills during the race, if you are top 4 places in a champion meeting standard, the last 400 distance between the race, you would get a 0.25 target speed increase. 0.25 target speed increase on an inherited unique is not that common, and this effect is very strong. Proccing 7 skills is not that difficult if you have very decent amount of wit, and later on we will get much more skill points, so you will have much more skills. So yeah, this is a very, very strong parent. And as an Uma herself, she is fine, it's like a decent Uma, but the main point is going to be her inheritance, because you are getting a very strong Uma that will consistently proc on a very critical moment of the race, and you will get a target increase for it. So yeah, that's what I have for front runners. So next up we have Pace Chasers, and for Pace Chasers you don't really have that much to pull for, at least from what I'm seeing. For the most part, make a new track scenario in itself, a lot of the cards are situational and you often can just use them as a borrow slot, or sometimes you could just use Super Creek or Find Motion instead as a borrow slot and just call it a day. So for Page Chasers, the first banner that you are going to pull for is most likely going to be the Christmas Augury banner. So let's talk about Christmas Augury. So for Christmas Augury, this Uma is going to be nuts. And if they do not release the second year anniversary balance change at the first year anniversary for global, then God have mercy on all of us, because this Uma is going to be like the meta Uma for probably at least half a year to a year on global's schedule, up until like whenever they feel like releasing the second year anniversary. So this Uma has very insane growth rates, being 15% speed and stamina. She can run every single track outside of sprint. The sprint one is, you can technically run it, but you will need 10 sparks for it. But yeah, technically can run every single track. And her unique, it's going to be very very strong. As long as you are in the second half of the race and proc 3 recovery skills, you will get a target speed increase, you will get an acceleration, and you also get some of your stamina recovery. So this unique is insane, because it depends on which track that Ogre is going to be in, but the gist of it is that as long as you can control this unique and whatever it procs, Christmas Ogre is going to outshine almost every single Uma by herself. So the funny thing is that she also has triple sevens, and this is going to be a very strong like recovery skill for mild and medium basic tracks. Because if you just buy like a corner recovery or something that procs in the early race, the second half of the race, like I don't know, maybe like lion weight gold recovery skill, like the common skill for that, then you will proc triple sevens and immediately proc her unique and give her a very increased amount of target speed and also acceleration, and she also recovers her stamina. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Christmas Ogre. This like skill isn't really that great. Gourmand is of course a very strong gold recovery skill, but the true power of Ogre Cap just comes from her unique. Her unique is just way too strong considering the current day of Umamusume, and she doesn't like, oh, she can get charming. I've clicked on the wrong event, but she can get charming too, which is something that if you realize the top 3 Umas have, being Summer Marazinski, she gets guaranteed charming after the second year or like the first turn of the summer event. She will get charming. It's probably too late for that point, but Mihono Bourbon and Ogre Cap, she can just get this very easily and very early. So yeah, Christmas Ogre going to be a very strong Uma, and if you can play around her unique, she will just outshine almost every single person in the lobby. Next banner is going to be the support card banner for Fine Motion and Kamikami Princess, and you're mostly pulling for Fine Motion. As you can clearly know, Fine Motion is going to be a very very strong card. Why did I not recommend it for frontrunners? You can technically pull on Fine Motion, but this guide is mostly for free-to-play players-ish, so it's just like this banner is right, I believe, after Mihono Bourbon banner, and this is the banner that is right before Naruto Top Road banner, so you wouldn't probably have a lot of karats. So yeah, I decided not to recommend it for frontrunner players. So as a pace chasers, this card is going to be an extra card, because this card can give you Speed Star. Speed Star is a decent skill, and it's been buffed to be 1.8 seconds instead of 1.2 seconds. And it's not guaranteed, but still a very very good skill overall. And Fine Motion is still the best wick card in the entire game. So yeah, you're pulling on a very very strong card, and this is right before Make a New Track, so you will get this over here, the 10% race bonus if you got lucky. If you got like, I don't know, like 2 limit break Fine Motion, you could get a selector at the first year anniversary. get it to limit break 3. Or if you spend some money, because there is also a different pack that lets you buy whatever support card that you want, you can instantly get this at max limit break. So yeah, very very strong card. You should pull for it if you are mostly maining a pace chaser team. But yeah, next up is going to be Nishiano Flower. So for Nishiano Flower, she is going to be the pace chaser version of Major Orion or Major Dober. So Hazan Uma herself, she is going to be very very strong, because she has a 0.4 acceleration. When inherited, it's a 0.2 acceleration. So as a parent, she's going to be very very good. So this unique, while it looks like a mess, I will try to explain it. There is going to be a precondition, is that you have to be blocked by either side for 2 seconds, and it has to be at the mid-game corner. So the conditions is that you have to be in the late race or last spurt. You have to be in the final corner later half, which is going to be the second half of the final corner. You have to be third or above, I think. Hold on. No, third or below. So third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, this will trigger. But you have to be between third to fourth place position for it to trigger. So that's why she is going to be the Major Dober version of Pace Chasers, because you have to be either third to fourth place position to trigger this unique. And you get a 0.2 acceleration from it, which is very strong. Hazan Uma herself, I think she is whatever as an Uma, but overall, as a parent, you will obviously want to use Nishiano Flower as one of your Umas for parenting. So for the late surgers, it might be difficult, because you have 3 different banners that are close to each other that is going to be released, being Major Dober Nice Nature banner, and also going to be Christmas Ogre. So if you are a slight spender, what I would recommend to you is that you skip one of the 2 Uma banners and use the ticket on them to get them, if you decided to spend. If you do not decide to spend, then hope RNG is with you if you want all 3. So first things off, I'm going to be talking about the Major Dober. Major Dober is a very interesting Uma. She is similar to Major Orion, and that their unique is going to be between specific positions. This Major Dober unique is going to be between 5th to 6th place position, while Major Orion is only at 6th place position. It gives you a 0.2 excel, very similar to Major Orion, but this unique has 2 different conditions. Either you have to be in the late race at a corner, or if the final corner is at a mid game, it will proc. So here's the thing: if let's say you are in the late race, if you touch the late race and it's on a corner, then this part is going to be triggered. The other condition is that you don't have to rush at all. Both conditions have it. If you rush once, you're not going to proc this unique. But you have to be on a final, like you have to be in the late race on a corner between 5th to 6th place position, or if you are at the final corner, even if it's on the mid race between the 5th to 6th place position, then it will trigger this unique. It's a very very powerful unique with Major Orion, because if you secure 6th place position for a decent while and proc both in the most crucial part, your late surger is going to be sent flying. As an Uma herself, she is going to be a decent Uma too, because she has this very unique effect of whenever she is going to be on a Kyoto race course, she's going to get extra wit and extra stamina. The speed part gets added on the 2nd year anniversary, and she also has all seeing guys, so you can build her as a debuffer if you want to. Overall, a versatile Uma, and going to be a very, very strong parent too. Next up is going to be the nice nature with card banner, and this is basically like fine motion for late surgers for the most part. She doesn't pour has good numbers, has fine motion, but in terms of value, she's going to be very good for late surgers specifically. One of the key strengths of nice nature is that she has 15% race bonus, 5 from here, and she has 10% race bonus here. Though you only need 3 limit break for this to work, because you are recommended to have at least 10% race bonus on a card for making you track. A maximum break, this jumps to 15%. So if you already have this card at like 2 limit break or 3 limit break, then you should just use the selector on it and get it to high limit break and skip this banner. But the key factor is that you get it on your left, and on your left is of course a very strong skill for late searchers. And the good thing is that if they choose to buff or like add the second year anniversary balance change, then this is actually going to be buffed. So what you're seeing is going to be the global version, and the global version is that you have to be below 5th place position, and you have to be like, it's a random point at the late race, so it's a gambling acceleration. But if they choose to add the second year anniversary balance change, this unique suddenly becomes having you between 4th or below has a position, and it will trigger guaranteed at the first half of the late race. So this skill becomes better if they decided to put the second year anniversary balance patch very early on, and it will actually boost the value of this card. Christmas Augury is going to be next, and I already have talked about her and how her unique is the strongest aspect about her in the Pace Chaser section. So yeah, Christmas Augury is going to be a very good Uma too for late surger position. Has an encloser main, you are probably going to be pulling on Tamamo Cross. Tamamo Cross is going to be a very interesting Uma. So if we go over here, Tamamo Cross is going to be a strong Uma, has an encloser possession. Let's talk about her growth rates. 20% stamina, 10% power. Very good growth rates, like identical to Gold Ship. She can run every single strategy but front, but I think she is going to work the best as an end closer, and I will say why. Next up is going to be her distance attributes. She can run every single attribute but sprint because of her having G on sprint. Then comes her unique. Her unique is going to be very interesting because if you are in the second half of the race, provided that you are on a straight and you are between 6th to the 7th place position, please do not make a joke of that stupid meme, and you have to be an overtake target, or sorry, you have to have an overtake target. You will trigger this unique, and you get target speed increase, and you also get acceleration from it. Another thing is that, let's say Tamamo Cross decided to randomly say, okay, I'm not going to be between the 6th to 7th place position, but I'm going to be like a 5th or like 4th place position. You will still have this condition where if you are on like a straight after the second half of the race, between the 2nd to 3rd place position, she would also get that unique to proc. Both of her uniques are going to be very strong. It depends on your preference, but there isn't really that good amount of encloser Umas. You can technically run her as a late surger or a pace chaser too, but I think if you're an encloser like enthusiast, then I think you should pull for Tamamo Cross, because there isn't really that much great encloser Umas. So as for her skills, she has Fast and Furious, which is a mid-game late surger skill. Could be helpful if you want to run her as a late surger, but I'm talking about her like as an encloser, because she has straightaway sport guaranteed on her kit. This is a very strong skill and it's very rare because unfortunately you don't really have that much Umas that can get straightaway sport on her kit. Only one being Naruto Taishin, and Naruto Taishin only has Enroaching Shadow locked it to herself, but straightaway sport, very strong effect. Then she has something called Tail 9, which is going to be the gold version of Tail Held High. So this is going to be a powerful skill too, as it will help her contain a good positioning for her to proc her unique if you so choose desire. So yeah, overall very good Uma, and she also gets a chance of getting Charming from her costume event, so you will have more likelihood to get Charming. And yeah, next up is going to be Mr. CB card. So for the Mr. CB card is going to be a card that if you're an encloser and don't pull on this card, like what are you doing? Because this card gives you the gold version of early lead, which is going to be early start, and it is Daring Strike. So what it is that it triggers at a random point in the mid race if you are an encloser and you have to be 5th or below. You remember why Gold Ship was very good? Because of her unique. It will trigger pretty much the exact same way, and this has a 4-second duration whilst Gold Ship is 6 seconds. But this unique is pretty much like very good alongside Gold Chip, and that is why Gold Chip is actually really strong. Because of that condition and where she procs that unique, it makes her a very powerful Uma for long. And this skill is actually like a semi version of that unique of Gold Chip, just put on a skill. So overall, this skill is insane for enclosers, and every single encloser should literally just buy this skill instantly. Overall, must have card for late enclosers, sorry. And let's say that you also like Ogre Cap. Technically you can buy Ogre Cap from shop and just get Ogre Cap and Runner as an encloser if you choose to do so. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my recommendation. I might sound off a bit at specific parts, but that's because I'm sick. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you found this video to be helpful, consider subscribing and join the Discord if you are interested. And I hope to see you in the next one.